booked my first paying client, I think it was a week out of certification. I think it was $300 for a couple of weeks, and then I went to $350 an hour.
All right, Dani, this is Sean talking, and I've got Danielle Kortava. We call her Dani because that's what she likes to be called. And she's one of the very top students from the first training that we did last year in April of 2022. And I just wanted to ask her a few questions about her experience doing that, and I think she's happy to answer. Dani, the first thing that I wanted to ask was, if you could describe for people who are interested in hearing what this is like, can you tell them what got you into wanting to be a hypnotherapist in the first place?
Well, the first thing was my experience with hypnotherapy personally. I was a client of Sean's and found myself at a really low place, and the transformation that I experienced was so profound that it inspired some passion. I mean, how could I not share this with the rest of the world? I wanted others to feel the same way that I was feeling.
And so once we got into the training, can you describe maybe in what ways the training was what you were expecting or different from what you were expecting in some way? What was your experience like when we trained?
I wasn't really sure what to expect, but it was a lot more educational than I actually was expecting, to be honest. We did a lot of hands-on stuff. I did not think that we were going to be hypnotizing the very first day. That threw us all for a loop. We all were like, wait, what? But I think that was a really great thing because I became very comfortable with that process a lot sooner.
And so how quickly would you say you felt like competent or confident hypnotizing people?
Well, I'd say that one of my first clients out of training for my credit hours, she experienced a really big transformation. So I felt pretty confident right out of training.
Right out of the gate, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. People think that it takes forever to learn something useful, but I think what most of the students were saying was that by the end of the first week even of the training, right?
Yes. Actually, I booked my first paying client, I think it was a week out of certification.
After the graduation, you mean?
After graduation.
Yeah, so we graduated in late August, and within a week after that, you booked a paying client, right? So talk about what your experience was like after the training ended. So during those periods where you were first beginning to do your work with your guinea pigs and then on into making money.
Well, that has actually been incredible. Besides the mentorship that I continue to receive from Sean, which is priceless, the experience has been really fulfilling. Gaining more confidence as I go on, experiencing new situations that people are going through, and seeing how effective that I've been with them. It's been pretty incredible.
So it's fulfilling as well. So it's effective. You're getting good feedback from people.
Yeah.
So to someone who might look at this and, it's not the cheapest training around that I'm offering, right? And there's a reason for that. But for those who are thinking, this is kind of, it's $6,000-7,000 to do this training, they're a little bit on the fence about it. Is this really going to pay off? What would you tell folks who are on the fence about it? Whether it's what they need to do for this to be worthwhile or your experience with that in terms of just the investment of time and money.
Yes, it's completely worth it. Completely worth it. I already see myself, I'm already building my own business, and it's only been like 5-6 months. So it's completely worth it, worth every single penny. I'm still continuing to educate myself as well with other trainings, but I'm learning every single day. So I would say do it. I really would.
And so how many reviews do you have currently on Google?
I have 10 5-star reviews and counting. I keep saying that because I need to pester more people that have promised me a review because of their experience.
And so on the business side of things, like it's one thing to have the skills to be able to hypnotize and do some of this work, but on the business side of things, what do you have to say about the training and what we offered with that?
Oh, that was great. I learned how to structure my website. I learned about what type of marketing I should be looking towards. What else did I learn? I'm trying to think.
Well, and doing the consultations, right? We talked about that, right?
That's right, and the consultations as well. We did a lot of practicing too, especially during the training hours, and we did our weekly meetups, lots of questions and answers, and it was really helpful.
So once the training was done, we did these 12 weekly 1-hour Zoom calls, and you found that helpful in terms of you're doing work with people, and then you were getting ongoing coaching with that, right?
Yes, because a lot of questions came right outside of training, especially during our credit hours too, but the weekly calls were extremely helpful.
Okay, so this was not a thing where you felt like when the training was done, you got a certificate, and then it's like good luck.
Yeah, like you're pushed out into the wild? No, absolutely not.
Okay, so what do you think someone needs to put into this in order to get the good results out of it? You know, from a down-to-earth perspective, this is not a thing that you're just going to walk into and then you're going to graduate and make a ton of money for doing nothing, right? Because I think what you did was you read the books I recommended,
Yep.
and then you consumed or reviewed the materials that I gave you, the digital materials and that kind of stuff. So is that something that you think you want to communicate to people? Like, they have to be willing to do the work, right?
Yes, absolutely. Reading the materials. I still go over my manual from time to time, but also I found that creating the audio files for myself to remind myself what I'm doing and my goals, where I'm heading towards, is actually really helpful. I still listen every day to understand that I'm going to be an effective hypnotherapist, and I actually am. And thanks to Sean, he gave us one of those during training.
Right out of the gate.
Yes.
And what's the rate that you're charging currently, Dani?
$350 an hour.
$350 an hour, and that was what you started charging right out of the gate?
I think it was $300 for a couple of weeks,
Uh-huh.
and then I went to $350.
Now you've booked programs of multiple sessions with clients, right?
That's right. 9 sessions, 6 sessions.
What's the biggest package that you've booked so far? The total amount, would you say? That one that was 9 sessions,
9
I think,
sessions.
right?
Yes.
Okay,
9
so
sessions
that's a
total.
program worth almost $3,000, and you've been doing this for like less than 6 months officially.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. How good does that feel?
It feels amazing.
Now, I think that you've actually earned back much more than you already invested at this point, have you not?
I think I have.
Yeah, a lot more. All right, so any last thoughts that you have about this? How much happier are you now than when you first did the training?
Oh, yes. I mean, I was a little nervous coming in. It was a lot of information. It took some time to really absorb it, but everything integrated. And it's just been this really cool growing process for myself. So I think this was the best thing that I've ever done for myself in more ways than one.
Thank you, Dani, very much for your time. All right.